Hello, hello, and welcome to FIBA Women's EuroBasket 2025. We are here in Palladosa Arena in Bologna, Italy for game day 3 of Group B, where Slovenia will take on Serbia. This group has been nothing but entertaining, so I have no doubt that tonight's matchup will be a good one. And here is today's schedule. We have another big game just after this one. Italy will take on Lithuania. And the standings for Group B, both Italy and Lithuania are 2-0. They will advance to the quarterfinals next round. Slovenia and Serbia, unfortunately, will not advance, both in search for their first victory. My name is Kristen Mann. I'll be doing play-by-play tonight, and to my right is my handsome co-host, Mark Mills.
You are too kind. You are too kind.
Mark, we've seen both of these teams twice already in this competition. The youngest team that's being introduced right now in EuroBasket. How do you think they're feeling? Obviously, they would have liked to have moved forward, but in my opinion, I think they've shown great potential, don't you think?
Yeah, I think potential is the key word for this Serbian team. It's the kind of changing of the guard. It's a transition. Coach Malkovic has talked about how they can't really be judged on where they are now. This is the first steps on that journey. So potential is there. You can see some bright sparks. The likes of Popovic and Nogic have played well and shown us what they can do. I'm sure they'll want to close out this tournament on a high, though. They don't want to kind of limp out without picking up a win. Absolutely, couldn't agree more.
And Slovenia is now getting introduced. Are you surprised to see Slovenia in this position, being 0-2?
Yeah, massively. So for me, I was expecting them potentially to be in the quarterfinals. I think there's plenty of talent. They've got a nice balance of experience and youth in that roster, but it just hasn't played out that way for them. They pushed teams close. They pushed Italy close. They were down by 24 and got it back to a tied ball game, which I think took both of us by surprise. Yeah. But they just haven't put 40 minutes together. They put 25, 30 minutes. And at this level, it's not good enough. You have to have a full 40-minute performance if you want wins.
Absolutely. All right, we are going to take a little pause here as both national anthems will be played.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you're able, we invite you to stand up for the national anthem of Serbia. And now, ladies and gentlemen, if you are able, please remain standing for the national anthem of Slovenia.
All right, folks, welcome back. Coaches exchanging small gifts, and players meet at half court right now, doing the exact same thing. Have a great crowd tonight for game day 3.
Yeah, I'd say probably the biggest crowd we've had for the first game of the day.
I think so, for the first game of the day.
Yeah.
You might be right.
We're going to leave Bologna in style.
All right, tonight's referees. We have Paulo Marquez from Portugal, Karsten Straub from Germany, and Sandra Sanchez Gonzalez from Spain. As I always say, they do have the hardest job in the building.
I'd argue that than me. Surely that's why I keep trying to convince people. I'm not sure anyone's having it done.
Pretty soon here, we will have a look at our starting lineups. For Serbia, we do not have Ivan Anderson in the lineup or on the roster at all.
Yeah, it's an interesting one. Obviously, she picked up that knee injury in game day 1, suited up yesterday, but clearly it affected her. Now they are without the safety net that is Ivan Anderson.
And here are the starting 5. Ratza, Nogic, Jankovic, Dugalic, and Katanic. And Katanic actually hasn't played a ton in the previous 2 games, so maybe she will be that spark that Serbia needs. And Jovana Nogic has been very, very good for Serbia, averaging 16 points, 2.5 rebounds, 3 assists. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, she's the one outside threat they've had all tournament. Serbia are the 2nd worst 3-point shooting in this tournament. Nogic, though, on her own shooting 56%, and I'm sure Coach Malkovic will be leaning on her very heavily today, especially with Anderson.
I couldn't agree more with you. I think Nogic is their star power offensively. They will definitely be leaning on her. Slovenia, their starting 5 should be up very shortly. They've struggled from time to time offensively.
Yeah, they have. It's been an interesting one. We obviously, they've got some big stars that necessarily haven't fulfilled that potential.
Yeah, we've got Lisec, Oblak, Friskovets, Siuka, and Shepard in the starting 5. And who's your star player for them?
Well, for me, without doubt, Jessica Shepard. You know, what a first EuroBasket Women's Tournament she's had. She's leading the entire EuroBasket in scoring. She's averaging a double-double. You can't ask any more from her. What you can ask for is people to step up and support. Ateo Black statistically has looked okay, but hasn't been the leader they need her to be. Alongside that, Lisec hasn't stepped into that veteran role that we expected. Coach Diolakos, I think, will be frustrated and disappointed they haven't been more competitive, but I also know what a competitor he is, so I expect to see a very resilient and determined Slovenian side today.
Yeah, and even though these 2 teams are not advancing, can you talk about a little bit about how important this game matters?
Oh, without doubt. Ultimately, there's several aspects to this for me. There's personal pride. So all of these athletes, you don't get to this level without being a competitor, without wanting to win everything you do, be it a board game at home to a EuroBasket game. You have to win everything. So they're going to approach the game with that same mindset. But on the flip side of that, if you zoom out a little bit as well, before you know it, they'll be trying to qualify for the next EuroBasket Women's. The first window tips off in November, and they'll get ranking points if they win today's game, which might help them in their seeding pot, giving them an easier qualification route. So there are no days off. There are no dead games in FIBA basketball. And I'm sure the coaches have tried to communicate that and use that as a way to motivate them.
I certainly hope so. I have no doubt that both teams will come out here to compete to try and get their first win. Like you said, there is a pride issue also. And you want to leave on a high note, right? So I definitely think it's going to be a very competitive battle this evening.
Yeah, I think without doubt, both these teams have obviously got their fans as well, courtside. You've got that national pride on your shoulders. You've got the responsibility to your own country to deliver a performance that's fitting of your national identity. And both of these countries, from a basketball perspective, they're basketball countries that hold their heads very high on the international stage.
Absolutely. All right, folks, we are almost at tip-off. All right, hello everyone and welcome to FIBA Women's EuroBasket 2025. This is game day 3 of Group B. We got Serbia in blue, who have won the opening tip, and Slovenia in white. It's Katanic. Finds Jankovic, she will drive left. Gets that blocked. And right away inside, they find Shepherd for 2.
And we saw that 1-2 punch early in the game yesterday. And it worked well. Oblak and Shepherd could be one of the deadliest duos in this tournament. They just haven't done it consistently.
Exactly, they have not. Inside, alone, Dugalic matches. 2-point basket is good.
I think our question about whether the players were motivated or not has already been answered here.
And right away, a steal from Nogic. And Katanic misses that layup. Another turnover. Jankovic will make sure that one finishes.
And Serbia on-ball pressure has actually been one of the things they've done well. They are averaging 8.5 steals a game. That's the 3rd highest in the whole tournament. So they've delivered that one aspect of the game very, very well, and it's kept them in some games.
Shepherd gets double teamed inside. That corner pocket 3 is no good. Rebound for Ratza. Katanic will slow things down for Serbia. Nogic with the pull-up. Bottom of the net. Good sign for Serbia.
Absolutely. It's interesting as well because Katanic running the point makes Serbia a very different team than if Anderson's running the point. Katanic will be pure provider.
Oh, good feed inside as Tea Oblak is fouled. She will go to the line for 2.
And it's a smart play by Oblak, just sneaking on that back door, kind of just getting in the way of that switch that happened at the top.
Like you said, her statistically, numbers look great on paper, but I would say that she's probably a little frustrated with herself, with her performance in the previous 2 games.
Yeah, for me, she's been trying to be provider, so she's 6.5 assists a game, which is great. In this team, she can't just be the provider. She doesn't have the firepower around her just to do that. She has to be averaging 15 to 20 points a game as well.
Yeah. Ratza on the wing. Gets it back inside. Doubled, kicks it out, corner pocket 3 for Katanic. No good, Shepherd with a rebound. Stolen away. Great defense for Serbia. And Nogic gets fouled by Siuka.
Yeah, I don't mind that foul from Siuka. Obviously, you know, Nogic was always going to draw her in with that little fake. And Siuka, rather than giving up easy points and giving Serbia some momentum, kind of took one for the team. That said, Siuka has struggled to make some good decisions this week. She's committed some crazy fouls at times.
That was one of the smarter ones, I believe.
Yeah.
Yeah, totally agree with you. Ratza almost loses it. Back inside, really strong pass. Dugalic will pull from 3, and it's good for Dugalic.
Ball movement in Serbia seems so much crisper and quicker today than it has in the previous 2 games. They're moving the ball a lot more freely.
Yeah, they've been a bit stagnant the previous 2 games. Liset's inside, 1-on-1. Dishes it to Shepherd. Can't get it, board. Kicks it out. 3-point basket! Nothing but the net for Friškovec.
And alongside Shepherd, Friškovec has been the standout player for Slovenia. Most of it offensively, but without doubt defensively, she's one of the good on-ball defenders they have.
She's someone you want to get going offensively. Deadly shooter from outside. High-low pass. Jankovic. The assist from Ratza. Lisetz turns it over. Here comes Katanic, finds Nogic in the corner. You bet! Big three for Serbia. And Slovenia will call a timeout. They want to talk about it.
Serbia are showing what we talked about before, that potential, and now they're delivering against it. It's really ball in the court of Slovenia. How do they change the flow of this game right now?
Yeah, 14-6 on this first timeout. Let's have a listen.
Your player is not a shooter, you give help. Okay? You don't switch, it's not necessary. You do not allow her to catch the ball with open window to the basket. We know, if you cannot deny or front, go behind her and push her. And then no left. Come on, let them score easy. And then we say, no turnover, because they score only from turnover. We already made 4. We already made 4 in 4 minutes. Ladies, 4 in 4 minutes, are you crazy? They will go for a trap now. They trap on the base of the window. Do not post, they trap here. So good spacing, 9:45. Okay, we play the C again. Remember?
Yeah, it's an interesting point that Coach Vikiolakos makes. 4 turnovers already. And as he puts it, are you crazy? It's the call to his team. And to be fair, that's what they've been hurt off. They've already had 5 points off turnovers. And they can't afford to just give up possessions that easily.
Absolutely. Let's see if they can get a bucket here out of that timeout. It looks like Serbia might have dropped into a zone, or maybe, no, maybe not. Oblak. There's the Oblak that we've been waiting for.
That is the Teo Oblak
yes.
that we saw help lead Praha to the EuroLeague women's title. That's the Teo Oblak that Slovenia have needed this week.
Yep. Raca thought about a 3. She will drive, dish to Dugalic, easy 2.
It's a very, very different looking Serbian team. The way they're playing the game, their heads are up, they're playing a bit more sprightly, a bit quicker tempo, better spacing. It's a far better performance.
Oh my goodness, what a pass inside from Teo Oblak to Jessica Shepard. There's that duo again.
Yeah, Shepard sporting a black eye, and you can see why, how physical she plays the game. There is no possession that she takes off.
I'd have to imagine teams are trying to do everything they can to keep her off the offensive rebounds as she picks up another defensive board. And that pass is deflected out of bounds. Ball will stay with Slovenia underneath.
Both teams, it's interesting, are trying to push the pace a little bit. It's something maybe they haven't done well so far in this tournament, so they're focusing a little bit more on that transition.
Friškovec finds Oblak, drives in the lane, and she is fouled. She will go back to the line for another pair of free throws.
Yeah, and in that situation, Katanic overhelped. She stepped away from Teo Oblak, and if you're one pass away against a player who has the ability to score 25 to 30 points a game, you cannot overhelp. You have to stay a little bit truer to your assignment.
Yeah, it's tricky because she's also a great passer. But yeah, Oblak is already, how many points does Taya has? Potentially 4. Maybe I jinxed that. That would have been her 5th. Raca. Offensive foul is called, I believe, on Raca on that pick and roll.
Yeah, I think she pushed her arm into the throat of Friškovec as she came round.
Oh,
yeah, there's
yeah.
the elbow. We've seen quite a few
We've seen of them, yeah, we have.
It's players trying to swim their way over the screens, and then the offensive players kind of stuck trying to clear some space. We saw Yvonne Anderson, I think, get called a couple of times yesterday.
It's
one
the
of them was an
extension.
unsportslike.
Yeah. Lisetz kicks it out, extra pass in the corner. 4-3, it's no good. But Siuka is there to clean it up.
much, much better from Slovenia. That was all about spacing, and like you said, that key word, the extra pass.
And
it's all about not committing too early.
Absolutely, and Coach Malkovich doesn't seem too happy about it. They will take a timeout. Let's have a listen and see what adjustments will be made for Serbia. Well, Mark, how's your Serbian?
that's what we need Anderson playing, because it forces Coach Malkovich to speak English. But yeah, from Coach Malkovich's perspective, you know, one of the most iconic coaches globally in women's basketball, and her dedication to what is now a project for Serbian women's basketball to get it back and to grow it again is absolutely admirable. She is all in, both from a national perspective and obviously now from a club perspective as well as Crvena Zvezda.
Yeah, and they are the youngest team in EuroBasket this year. Average age is what, around 24?
With Anderson not playing today, their average age
even
is just
younger.
plummeted.
You're right. Nogic will pull from 3, and it's good.
They have to fight their way over those screens. They can't be that half step too late. That's her second triple of the game already.
That is her second, yep. And Serbia with that smothering defense. Oblak breaks it, kicks it out, but it's turned over. Katanic got back in the play with a steal, and a foul will be called on Lisets.
And they're the stats you don't necessarily see. So another turnover. This is what Coach Nicky Lack was talking about. And it doesn't turn to just kind of turnover points, but it turns to one of your frontline starting 5 players having to pick up a foul that was unnecessary.
Yep. Yep, and Lisets had some foul trouble in game 1. She's really struggled offensively for Slovenia. I think she averaged about 17 points during the qualifiers and really hasn't done a whole lot so far. Katanic drives, dishes to Jankovic. She misses the bunny, and Shepard is there for the defensive board. Lisets will drive, take her time, fade away, uses the glass. Right on cue, as we're talking about her struggling offensively. I think she did.
Point to prove, but yeah, using her body, that size and strength advantage that she clearly has over Jankovic in the low post.
Ratza, the floater, no good. And the ball will go out of bounds. Slovenia will take it. Substitution being made. Sambulic will come in for Slovenia.
And Slovenia as well, you know, we talk about the youth of Serbia, but Slovenia, tons of young talent in that roster as well. Sambulic just 21 years of age. Obviously, you've got Suka 19, Bartelmi 19. It's looking pretty good for the future of Slovenian basketball as well.
Absolutely. Friskovets nails a 3. And she is a shooter, somebody you do not want to leave open.
3 points.
Got a 1-point ball game so far. Nogic will drive, gets rejected. Beautiful. Big block from Siuka. Shepard with contact, and 1! Big time play by Jessica Shepard. She will go to the charity stripe to try and complete the 3-point play.
she's just too strong. You know, you look at her against these players, and they're hitting her hard, as we see the block at the other end from Siuka, that great defensive stand. But she's just too strong. You know, no matter what impact or physical contact she gets in the lane, she still holds her body form perfectly.
I mean, she's just been outstanding so far this entire competition. I have no doubt that she'll probably end up with another double-double tonight.
Yeah, I think it's a near certainty, that one, for sure.
She hasn't, oh, you know what? Let me hold my breath.
Okay, okay.
See, I was gonna say, she hasn't been great from the free throw line.
She hasn't, that is true.
And thankfully, someone made a lane violation.
She gets another chance.
So she gets another chance here.
Just 56%, that's, you know, as a big, that can be problematic for you.
It can be, and thankfully she hit that one. Just under 2 minutes left in this first quarter. Tarudic drives and gets the bucket to go. First basket for Tarudic tonight. Siuka will try a three from the top. No good, but Friskovets gets the O board. Shepard demanding the ball. Oh, a cutting Svianovic. Yes, 2-point basket is good.
That was all about the timing and the angle of the cut. She waited perfectly till the moment was right to make that, and the cut was so hard.
Yes, and a turnover, steal. Svianovic will try for another one. Yes. Yes, ma'am, she gets that to go.
And
Serbia.
Now this is the first real test for Serbia today. You know, will they bounce back? They're young. Will it hit them going down in a game like this without Anderson leading them?
Yeah. Oh, another turnover. Oh, no. They get it back. As Mitrovic gets a layup for Serbia, and not really sure what's...
I think she may be cut.
She's bleeding?
I think so. I've never known a player to find their own cuts, though. Most of them try and hide them as best they possibly can.
And Leah Bartelny will come in for Slovenia. She is also quite young, 19 years young. Is that right?
Yeah, she was part of the same year group as Siuka. Those two helped lead Slovenia to that under-18 women's EuroBasket gold, and that was against the odds. They were going up against very strong Spanish teams and French teams, so big things are expected of those two.
Shepard gets triple team. Svianovic will take a three, bottom of the net. Wow. Last three possessions have been great for Slovenia. They've completely turned this around. They've got a 5-point lead. 18 seconds left to go in this first quarter.
And interestingly, both of these teams have kind of struggled offensively. Serbia averaging a little over 60 points a game. Slovenia just shy of 69, and we're almost on a 100-point apiece game right here. This is not what we would necessarily expect.
Exactly. Maybe they just needed a couple games to warm up. Serbia should use all of the clock here to end the quarter. And they don't. Miss shot, and a 2-on-1 fast break. 2-point basket is good. Svianovic again. 9 points this quarter for Svianovic. And after 10 minutes, Slovenia has made a comeback. They are leading by 7, 30-23. Here we are with some stats for the first quarter. Those aren't quite right.
They're not even the right
not even the right teams, actually, now that I look at it. I was like, wait a minute. The score would be drastically different.
They're just trying to keep us on our toes.
Yeah.
They're making sure we're not
Like,
nodded off here in the commentary box, I think so.
And yeah, Slovenia kind of had a slow start that first quarter. Kind of has been the story for them actually this whole competition. But yeah, 30 points. Wow.
Yeah,
What has been the difference?
It's a hot first quarter for them. And you're right, Slovenia have started slowly in every game. The difference here is that they've reacted quicker. So they've identified, Coach Nikolakis obviously called that early timeout, talked about the turnovers and said, we've got to be more precious with our possession. We can't make these simple mistakes and gift freebie points. And they reacted well.
And you're right. I think maybe I'd have to look back at the previous two games. Maybe it was calling that early timeout and kind of saying, hey, like, we don't have time to waste. Like, we need to get our stuff together now. But yeah, so far, really impressed. Everyone has really contributed. Jessica Shepard's got 7 points. And folks, get out your phones and scan the QR code to get the Courtside 1891 app, where you can stay up to date with all the latest news, streams, and more from the world of international basketball.
And you look at this Slovenian team, 7 fast break points in the first quarter, 6 points off turnovers. That's how their game is really developing. It is all about defense. And to be fair, Serbia pretty much the same, 8 points off turnovers, 5 in the fast break. So on ball, intense defense, getting into passing lanes is where they're finding success.
All right, friends, second quarter underway. Slovenia with a 7-point lead and almost turned it over. Possession will stay with Slovenia on the sideline. Debeljak in for the first time.
Very interesting that Slovenia are taking the opportunity with this lead to rest 4 of their 5 starters.
Svjanovic, where has she been?
She's had glimmers of what she can do, but I think she's kind of a confidence player to a certain degree.
My goodness, 11 points for Svjanovic. And a foul will be called on the drive. I believe it's on Debeljak. Serbia will take the ball out of bounds underneath. Great deflection here by Debeljak. Ball now moves to the sideline. And there's Shepard. Like you said, getting a nice little early breather.
Yeah, she's been playing almost 37 minutes a game across the first 2 games, so having any form of a break is a rarity for her this week.
And a turnover for Serbia. And double teamed. And they almost got a steal. There's that tenacious defense, which we didn't really, I felt like they weren't as in your face.
No, it's about consistency. They've both shown phases of playing that high reaching defense, coming all the way out to the half-court line, but they've not done it long enough in the games to actually have a full impact.
And shot clock is winding down. Lisets will try a 3. It's a bit heavy. And Popovic with the ball, the youngster, 17 years young. And Djordjevic with a nice finish. Lisets was wide open on the other end. Lisets will spin inside, kiss off the glass with the reverse lay-in.
Yeah, great work, footwork from Lisets in the low post, goes early. And both teams are looking for those early opportunities. They're not trying to develop and grow their offense. They're looking first or second option through their plays to see if there is an ability to attack the basket. And I think, to be honest, having quite young rosters on the floor, it's probably best that you do that to a certain degree so they don't get lost in the offense.
I agree with you. I think you need to have a little bit of a balance, and I think Serbia has struggled with their transition game as well. foul on the pass. Debeljac, I think that will be her second.
Debeljac, second foul. Secondo foul per la numero 20, Debeljac.
And even though it's a second foul, if I'm Coach Nikilax, I don't mind that as a foul. It's showing the passion, the intent, the commitment to defense.
Nogic, nice dish. Can't get the shot to fall. Jankovic fights for the offensive rebound. She will drive.
I love that help
And
down
another
by
turnover.
Patelme.
And a foul will be called on Popovic. And like you said earlier, the fouls by Debeljac wasn't a bad foul.
No,
this
not
one
at all.
here in the front court, when you're so far from the basket, it's tough to swallow.
Yeah, it's unnecessary. It's not like someone's going past you, that you're weak on numbers. You've literally done the right thing. You're shepherding them to the sideline. They're going to have to change direction, which will slow them down.
Liset's ball was deflected out of bounds by Serbia, so possession will stay underneath for Slovenia. And another turnover. And here comes Popovic. Got a mismatch. She will drive. Kicks it out to Tarudic. Jankovic, the lefty. Too strong off the glass. Slovenia's got numbers. First basket is good for Bartele.
Yeah, her first points of the tournament.
They extend their lead to 11. Nogic will try from deep. Too hard.
Slovenia are a little bit fortunate for me there. Going under the screen on Nogic is a no-go. Just
Yeah, you
can't happen.
really can't do that with a shooter. They're playing with fire, that's for sure. Debeljac from three. Bottom of the net!
And this is the Slovenia I was expecting all week, and they've saved it for the final day when they're already eliminated.
Timeout for Serbia. Yeah, they extend the lead 39-25. We will have a listen into the timeouts, folks. All right, friends, if you have your phones out, please scan that QR code to get courtside 1891. That is a glorious application with all the latest news and streams and more from the world of international basketball.
I think this is a really important moment in the game for Serbia right now, and you can see Coach Malkovic on the floor, even to the last second, trying to get a little bit more information into her players. For me, I think the key is tempo right now. I feel that Slovenia are completely controlling how this game is being played, the speed it's being played at. Serbia need to wrestle that control back, probably primarily looking to try and slow Slovenia's offense down a little.
Absolutely, they definitely need to get stops. Given up already 39 points with 6 minutes left to go. Dugalic trying to work inside. And Jankovic will turn it over. think she was passing the ball to one of her teammates on the bench on accident.
And this is where the Anderson absence kicks in, because in that situation, Anderson is a guard who can score as well as pass. If you have just a passing-only kind of point guard, if things don't work out, they can't look to create for themselves.
And Lisette alone kicks it out. Debeliak, shot fake, sidestep. Misses the three, but a foul underneath the basket. I think it's on Siuka.
Yeah, I think she's being called for holding, hooking
yeah,
arms.
you see it on the replay there. She did a little, looks like she did a little dance with Nogic.
I think that's a lovely, smart play by Nogic.
Yeah,
Nogic
probably.
is the one that's hooking the
Yes.
arm. But Siuka got frustrated and flung her arm, which showed up for the official.
It's a veteran taking advantage of the youngster on that one for sure.
It is.
And Serbia desperately need a bucket right here. Popovic kicks it out inside. There is, 3-second violation. And the frustration right now with Serbia. Had 2 turnovers back-to-back.
I can see what the Serbian team are trying to do. So one thing they're doing really well offensively is they're creating mismatches all over the place. Debeliak in particular has been stuck under the basket so many times guarding bigs, but they've not capitalized on it, and they overplayed it in that situation, end up with a violation.
Oblak kicks it to Lisette. 3 is no good from the corner. Senecar. And Oblak finds her way easily in the lane for 2. Number 7 for Slovenia, Senecar. These are her first minutes of the competition, correct?
Yeah, it's a big moment for her.
And I think it's another turnover. Yeah, this is where that youth is starting to come up a little bit. You need to have somebody to slow things down. You need to get a good look at it and a good shot.
And I think these are smart changes now by Coach Malkovic. She's putting on players with a little bit more experience. Duglic is coming in, Katanic is coming. 2 players that started and gave Serbia a good, bright start to the game. So we should expect to see a little bit maybe more composure offensively for Serbia.
On the other end, Shepard is back in.
Yeah, it doesn't get easier.
So it doesn't get easier as she spins and drives, and 2 points right away.
And I was interested to see that from Shepard yesterday. She struggled at times just back to the basket, so she kind of took herself out and gave herself a bit of momentum, a run-up almost, and put the ball on the floor and found some success.
Yeah, as Jankovic gets blocked by Lisette. Lisette will try. Doesn't hit anything for 3. Debeliak trying to find a solution, and she almost turns it over.
I think that one was just a little bit too telegraphed. When she got to that stage, it was like, it's going nowhere but into the hands of Shepard, and Serbia could react accordingly. If anything, she's quite fortunate that it just got knocked out of bounds and not taken away.
You see Slovenia's got 9 second chance points, and 5 offensive rebounds. And Siuka from downtown. It's a bit long. And there's another O board.
And now Slovenia have 2 more rebounds on Serbia's basket than Serbia even have. And that's when you're, as a coach, pulling your hair out.
Oh, turnover. It's the right read. Shepard slipped that screen. She would have had a wide open layup. Pass was a little bit too strong.
Yeah, you're right. The pass isn't even too strong. It's a split second too early. It's just too far ahead of Shepard to be able to get hold of. But you can see they're playing more relaxed, more confident, smiles on their faces. Don't get me wrong, easy when you're up by 18.
Holy cow, 30-6 run for Slovenia. Jankovic commits a foul. We've got substitutions coming in. Teja Gorsic will make her first appearance. And timeout for Slovenia. Slovenia sitting very comfortably right now with this lead, 43-25. Let's have a listen in to their timeout.
What's the view about the block?
We all bought.
From trail, I also saw ball dead when she touched.
And then there
Of course there is, okay.
And the reason is she's the girl who's always complaining about each contact. So that means 1% less by corner.
You were watching.
Yeah.
I have a question. Your last goal here is from trail or for center?
In this game it's for him because I call one, he called over me. And now you are thinking and boom, you call.
I think for me, because this is the last play now.
All right, folks. So far,
It's interesting for me seeing Coach Nikolakis call that timeout. Up by 18, 3.5 minutes to go. Has he given Serbia almost a bonus timeout to try and find some alterations? I kind of want to put them to the sword if I was Coach Nikolakis.
you know, you're right. I think he did actually, but at the same time, they've also called timeouts and haven't done well out of those ATOs. So we'll see. But yeah, so far it's been a 13-2 second quarter for Slovenia.
And we've seen big leads here in Bologna this week. So Slovenia, for example, obviously down by 24, and they broke it down into those chunks. I imagine Serbia looking to do the same.
I think you're right.
That's not going to help them.
And that does not help. Great offensive rebound by Shepard, who finds Gorsuch underneath. And they have extended their lead to 20 with 3 minutes left in this second quarter. Katanic behind the back pass. Three-point basket is good for Dugalic. That was a nifty behind the head pass. Katanic. Serbia desperately needed that bucket. And they come up with a steal. Jankovic dishes. And Katanic throws it away right away. It's Serbia back with another steal. They've got numbers. Nogic will try for three. Nails it.
That's a huge back-to-back play.
Yes.
A 6-point swing when things were looking pretty terminal.
Things were, yeah, that was a little, those possessions there were a little messy. It's turnover, but.
And if I'm Serbia, I want the game to kind of go that way.
You're right.
For the rest of this first half. I'd love for it to be scrappy and a bit
Absolutely.
off kilter and disrupted and fragmented. Because that's going to play to your advantage, because right now, a smooth, free-flowing game, Slovenia have no worries in playing that stuff.
Yeah, and Serbia thrives on that.
Wow,
So,
that was a cut on the arm of Jessica Shepard.
I did
Huge
not.
amount of blood pouring down her
Really?
arm. Yeah.
I must have missed that.
I think someone may have forgotten to trim their nails this morning
Yeah,
before the game.
that's one of my pet peeves, or was one of my pet peeves when I played, the long nails. And another turnover. Serbia numbers. 2-point basket is good for Ratza. And a nice little run here for Serbia. But then followed by an unnecessary foul in the front court.
I'm impressed Coach Malkovic can sit so calmly
You're
when
right.
she sees those. Because don't get me wrong, Popovic is 17 years old, so come on now. She's so young that she's going to make those mistakes, but these are mistakes
Yeah.
that you don't expect anyone of this level to kind of get pulled into.
And maybe that's why she is sitting so calmly, because she knows that she's 17. She's going to have to learn and go through these moments. Slovenia turn it over once again, and Nogic tried the football pass, ended in the hands of Lisets. That was a missed opportunity for Serbia. Skovets drives, untouched, lays it in for two.
She's been relatively quiet in this first half compared to the first two games, but I also think that's because she was really needed in those first two games to step up and hasn't really been as needed today.
Nogic trying to find a lane, but is fouled. And Slovenia had a foul to give. Will be Vrškovic's first foul. Nogic on the wing. The shot clock's winding down. She'll pull from three. It's a bit long. Rebound goes to Lisets. And a nice bounce pass to Gorsuch in transition. Wow. Great vision. And Serbia should have made the extra pass a little sooner.
Pass has got to go earlier. Nogic wide open and spotting up.
And Nogic will spin. Her shot's a little long. As Slovenia should slow things down to end this half. This possession. Ball is in the hands of Oblak. And a foul will put them to the line. Oh no, Serbia had one more foul to give. Excuse me. So smart foul.
Yeah, it's not the end of the world. You're not giving them any more shot clock. There's 3.1 seconds, so you are just getting them to restart their offense with very little time left. And from Nogic's perspective, her first foul as well. So yeah. A smart move, really.
A skip pass. No way. Gets in the hands of Lee. Oh, man. Ball almost went out of bounds. And somehow, ball ended up with Slovenia. Missed shot on that last possession, but they will go into halftime with a substantial lead at 49-33. My goodness, they're on track for 100 points. Serbia's going to desperately need to make some adjustments if they want to continue to try and get back in this ball game. And here are some of these stats. So 94% from two. That is insane. I don't know if I've ever seen that. 17 for 18 from two. They've got 20 rebounds. Turnovers. I had the feeling that Serbia had more turnovers, but
yeah, you saw a shot of Coach Malkovic deep in thought, having that conversation with her assistant coaches, and you'd love to understand one thing does she want to change. There's so many things they need to change, but what's she going to focus in on? Clearly, Nogic is going to lead the way for them to get their fight back in, and it's more than just stopping Jessica Shepherd today.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you see here, Nogic has 11 points, 0 rebounds, but also has 2 assists. And it's kind of been the story with Serbia. They've struggled scoring. It was Anderson and Nogic. Yesterday they had some production from Jankovic. She had 12 points yesterday, and today only has about 4. So
yeah, it's just Serbia just look disjointed right now. They don't look like they know who in the team is taking what role. And I suppose that's understandable in a transition period. You haven't got players that are the go-to when things go this way, or when a game is looking in this direction and becoming more scrappy or more free-flowing. You kind of, Slovenia know who they're going to. They're looking for certain players and certain styles of offenses, whereas Serbia right now don't have that fluidity about them, and it's costing them. The thing that's frustrating is they started really well.
Exactly.
They were up
I was going to make that point, yeah.
They're up by 8, and then all of a sudden,
since that timeout, they've been discombobulated.
And I would love to say it's all Slovenia, but I also think Serbia have kind of been their own worst enemies to a certain degree as well. I don't think they've lent into what they do well. And certainly defensively, if anything that Coach Malkovic is going to be focusing on, it will be that. It is not acceptable to ship 49 points against a team that are averaging less than 70 a game.
Yes. Yeah, so needless to say that I would like to be a fly on the wall in that halftime.
And that's something you can fully control. Your defensive effort is one thing in basketball. There's not many things you can fully control, but how much you put in, you can.
And they haven't really picked up full court, but we will see more in the second half. Right now, Slovenia is up 49-33. We will be back shortly.
Education, health, justice. We sometimes take these simple things for granted. They're not common for all of us. We are all born on the same planet, but not with the same opportunities.
Whatever our gender, color, belief, or capability, we are one. We are all on the same team. Let's convince those who never thought they would do it that they can. We can. Together, we are stronger. No matter your origin, basketball can bring everyone together. Basketball for good.
Witzeba finds Brown. Brown penetrates, no to go. Again, time's wanted down. Witzeba's got to go from the logo. Are you kidding me? Only Witzeba from the EuroBasket logo.
Barely touched the net.
Peterson, what a dive, finds Geisel, so she finishes. What a 1-2 play combo.
Oh, that's pretty, Josh. Good job from her, shooting in rhythm.
Good take back, get it rejected.
Philippe, again, you mentioned she's the one applying that pressure. They do get away with it. And Angelova was in the right spot and converted.
Cool as you like, hey?
Taking the paints. They want to put back them into foul trouble. Nice little dish off. And again, beautiful basketball by Sweden. Neatly tucked away by Ellen Nyström.
There's not many players that have this connection. And now Alamon rewards Van Woo. Love to see it.
Team determined to get back to the final. Carrera goes in. What a block by FIBA.
Lekovic has to go up against Lidskins now. What a move! Maria Lekovic underneath the big. Great work. Rodachkova through the spin cycle.
Well, you said talk about momentum, and the free throws changed it. Well, they just hammered home that momentum change. Back to a 20-point game, but it could have been a 15-point game.
13 fast break points to 2.
By Boomer, bit of contact and another rejection. I'll say it one more time. Our fam said no in mi casa. Adios, goodbye.
That is unbelievable. These guys will be legends in their own countries, but also in the international basketball world.
All right, everyone, welcome back. Got about 7 minutes before the third quarter is underway. And it has been all Slovenia since that first timeout. I mean, it's 49-33 right now. Serbia came out very aggressive, but since that first timeout, I mean, it's been downhill from there. And Slovenia has taken complete control. Great performances, right? Honestly, from their bench, Sivanovic has 11, and Nogic for Serbia has been on fire. She also has 11 points.
Yeah, Nogic has been the one bright light, really, for this Serbian team. And it's been spotting up loads. They've not even maximised what they could have got from her, because she's been finding space on that perimeter, particularly in the break. In transition, like now, you can see her flooding down the left. And straight away, she's spotting up. She's not cutting to the basket. She knows the biggest impact she can have on the game is from the three ball. Interestingly, all her mates down on the same side.
On the same side. Maybe she should stay on the left-hand side for the second half.
Yeah, certainly would help. But I expect them to look to her more in the second half. I'm also interested to see Duglic having 10 points as well. I think that's super helpful for Serbia.
Yeah, Duglic has 10, which she hasn't been scoring a lot for them. And on the flip side, Svianovic has been outstanding. In just under 7 minutes, has 11 points. She's 5 for 5 for the game, 4 for 4 from 2, 1 for 1 from 3. I mean, 100%. Have yourself a night.
Yeah, it's pretty impressive. Across the first 2 games, she had a total of 6 points. So to come out and have 11 at the half, it's a massive achievement for the 27-year-old. What I love from this Slovenian perspective is the rotation has been deeper. He's enabled some of the support players, and I put them in quotation marks, to be freer, to have some time to find the tempo of the game, find where they can have an impact, and it's paid off. You know, Sivanovic has got points. You know, we're seeing other players have a bigger impact than they have. Gorsic hasn't played, 4 points straight off the back, 2 from 2 from the field, which is only going to help them down the line.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, their bench today has 20 points in comparison to Serbia's only got 6. So they're getting a lot of production from all 12 players, as a lot of players are playing for the first time in today's game in this competition.
And you can't ask more than that. You know, they showed the graphic 5 from 5.
Yeah.
All of them pretty much, I think 4 of them around the basket, all of them off cuts pretty much. Well, she's being aggressive and direct. It's, as a coach, that's what you want, a player coming off the bench that's ready to go at tempo and wants to make an impact.
I mean, they are shooting 66% for the game, which is amazing, and 17 for 18, which is 95%. Yes, you heard me, 95% from 2.
I point my attention more at Serbia with that statistic. Where is their defense?
Yes, you're right.
I'm almost as a coach going, guys, just foul now.
Yeah, just start hacking.
You know what I mean? We have to change and disrupt. If it means a hard foul, and you know, maybe too hard, even if it ends up as an unsportsmanlike, let's do something to try and change the direction.
You gotta have, absolutely, you have to have some sort of pride, especially if you're Serbia. You're known for your defense.
Yeah.
So to give up almost 49, 50 points,
and it's that percentage. You own your paint, and they're giving up easy looks constantly within the paint. And you know, find me a statistic at a game where you've ever shipped 94% from 2-point field goals and you've won the game. You're not going to do it. It doesn't happen. So for me, like I said before the half, I think Coach Malkovic has an unbelievable amount that she's going to have to try and change. But if they're going to focus on anything, I think it is making the game more physical, making it scrappier, and that starts with that interior defense. There aren't easy cuts to the basket. Everyone's getting bumped.
Everyone's got to get hit. Yeah, absolutely. And to go off of what you're saying, Slovenia's got 34 points in the paint in comparison to Serbia's 16 points. But just to put it in perspective, 34 points in the paint, that's usually for the entire game.
Well, they've got more points in the paint than Serbia have got everywhere on the court. So
fair enough.
It just can't carry on. And, you know, stats don't rule everything, as much as I think we both love stats, but you do have to look at those to really highlight, well, where is this game being won and lost? And right now, that is exactly where it's being won and lost. It's about intensity, it's about physicality. And I'm sure it doesn't take a lot to pull those levers to motivate the Serbian team to step that up. But Slovenia right now will be more than happy with how the game's rolling out.
Do you expect Serbia to bring out their full court pressure?
What are they waiting for?
Yeah.
That's where I'm at right now.
We really haven't seen it.
If you don't make a dent in this lead, in this quarter, you want it down to single digits heading into the last quarter. If you're not going to start pulling those levers and changing the game, then what are you trying to do? Just have the smallest possible loss? Or who wants that? I'd rather go out all guns blazing right now with Serbia.
And to be fair, Serbia was down quite a bit yesterday, and they made a nice little comeback. So they know that they're capable of doing it. They've got 20 minutes now.
It's about, defensively, it is about that intensity, and offensively, it's about being a little bit smarter. Basketball has never been a democracy, right? Not every player has the same right to have the same number of shots in a game. Find your offense. Find the players that will deliver. Nogic will deliver you points. You know, there's no two ways about it. Duglic, in this situation, is starting to deliver some points. Put the ball in their hands. Run the offense that leads to it. If you're bringing the ball up the floor, what side of the floor is Nogic on? Because that's the side I'm going to. Or I'm driving from the weak side and looking for the offside cut or the offside path. Whatever it is, I'm shaping towards where my options are.
I think these adjustments for Serbia have to be said verbally from Coach Malkovic, because her team is just too young to be able to recognize that on their own on the court right now. And like you said, Duglic, she's 100% today. 4 for 4. She's got 10 points in 13 minutes. She should definitely see the ball a little bit more. And I completely agree with you that Nogic needs more touches. All right, friends, don't forget, get your phones out, scan that QR code to get courtside, or excuse me, get EuroBasket. For all the updates, latest news on what's going on in this tournament, please download that app. We've got third quarter coming up here soon. In other news, France has beaten Switzerland 111 to 37.
Yeah, they're leaving Group A with a statement, with an exclamation mark.
They had that first close game.
Yeah, against Turkey. Turkey pushed them hard, came within 2 points.
And I think they lit a fire.
Yeah, if I'm the other teams, I'm almost annoyed at Turkey for doing that.
Yeah, you're like, thanks, Turkey. You ruined it for everyone.
And since then, the French have been unbelievable. Still, for me, favourites for the entire tournament. If they're not in the final, I'll be absolutely shocked. But that said, after these group games, we're in one and done. And that is, it just takes a couple of players that you didn't expect to have big games, and things swing very, very quickly.
All right, you guys, if you're just now joining us, third quarter underway. It's game day 3 for Group B. We've got Slovenia against Serbia. Slovenia with a very comfortable lead. And the take by Jankovic is good for 2.
Yeah, I like that. It's an early aggressive move. It wasn't like trying to apologize, almost like a lot of Serbian offense has in that first half. It was very direct. It was, yeah, it was the right thing to see. But now defense, what are they going to deliver? They need to have stops.
Shepard inside, one-on-one versus Duglic. Kicks it out to a shooter, and she hits the bottom of the net.
That all stems from allowing Shepard to establish herself on the restricted. You can't. If she's backing you down that much, you've got to go to front.
Yeah,
you've got to do something different. You can't give her the ball in that space.
As Duglic goes back for 2. It's tough to, you kind of want to double Shepard, but then you don't, because you got shooters all around for Slovenia.
I think we saw what Lithuania did to Slovenia, and we see the offensive foul there for Shepard. But what Lithuania did was they were just more physical. They didn't particularly double Shepard. They were just more aggressive with her. Don't get me wrong, Lithuania have 4 or 5 legitimate bigs who can happily burn some fouls in that process, and I don't think Serbia are in that position with their front court. They don't have that size necessarily outside of Duglic. And probably Djordjevic, there's not a huge amount of size for them to match up, so they have to be a bit more careful, but physicality is the key.
Yep, and we actually haven't seen Djordjevic that much today. She's only played about 5 minutes. And there's another turnover by Katanic. She just needed to It's the right read. Just need a little bit more air under that pass.
And again, I talked about the aggressive defensive nature, but it's not a smart foul.
Yeah.
You're a half step behind one of the best point guards in Europe. You're not just going to, it's a 1 in 100 chance you're going to get a clean rip in that situation. You're going to get called for the foul.
Yep, you are absolutely right. And another one. I'm not really...
I don't understand.
I'm not understanding.
I don't know if it's a misinterpretation. Maybe they've been told to be more aggressive or more direct or more pressure higher up the floor.
Yeah, but it doesn't mean to commit fouls.
No, not at all. It's about being in the mind of the point guard the whole time.
Right.
You can be a step off. You know, you just got to stay in front of them and be in their peripherals almost. That they're worried about you.
Resets inside to Shepherd. She gets that to drop. That looked almost a little too easy for Shepherd.
I'd almost be tempted right now if I'm Serbia to think about a zone defense.
Yep.
Just to mix up that interior proposition, because Shepherd's finding that way too easy.
Nogic dishes it to Jankovic. Wide open layup on the left side.
And I like that because Slovenia overplayed Nogic because they were worried about the three ball.
Yep.
And she lent into that. That overplay opened up her teammate.
And Shepherd left alone underneath. 2 points. Little miscommunication for Serbia.
Yeah, and Coach Malkovic is going to make a change straight away. As soon as that went in, she looked down the bench and shouted for Djordjevic to come back in.
Ratza inside. Tried to use the glass, can't get it to go. Liset's bringing the ball up the floor. Two-man game with Oblak. Extra pass underneath to Shepherd. Wow, that was pretty.
And that's what I envisage Slovenian basketball to be. Spacing, fluidity, teamwork, selfless passing. We just haven't seen it enough in this tournament. And, you know, I'm happy that we do get to see what they can deliver here on final game day.
It's really unfortunate that we didn't get to see it earlier in this competition. Nogic drives. Oh, lovely. Sweet up and under, but misses. Jankovic had a chance with the offensive rebound. Could not get that to drop. Shot clock violation, and subs are being made right now. Popovic will check in.
And we're seeing Dugalic come out as Djordjevic comes in. I want to see them both on the floor at the same time.
I agree with you. Why not?
Struggling to defend the paint.
Yes.
Just put your biggest bodies on the floor.
Yeah.
Just get the physicality has to go up.
Do you want to run over there and kind of?
I'm not going any. I'm not giving Coach Malkovic any advice whatsoever.
Any tips?
I have no doubt that the way she's running a rotation is far superior than I would. And I have to host a press conference later.
Oh, so yeah, you're right.
I think I might back down on this one. But we are going to see that change now. Dugalic coming back in.
Well,
so I don't know if she's listening to commentary.
Well, maybe
she might have the
maybe
commentary.
Jankovic heard you. She committed her third foul and has to go to the bench now. So yeah, let's see what this lineup will be.
Djordjevic needs to step back a little bit from the lead.
Two are double dribble. So great defensive possession for Serbia. Double teamed Oblak as the shot clock was running down.
Oblak not happy with the no call, but from a Serbian perspective, that's the defense they need to deliver. That's every possession has to be at that level now.
And they still can try and cut this lead down. There's plenty of time left. And we talked about this in other games about taking it in little increments. As Dugic skips it over to Ratza. She's trying to go one-on-one, but loses the ball. Slovenia's got numbers. Oblak gets that to drop. 2 points.
And the biggest issue I have in that play is Ratza was the one that made the mistake, and she did not run back on defense.
Oh, no.
She was the furthest away from the bucket when Slovenia scored. For me,
that's
unacceptable.
Yeah,
as
absolutely.
A coach, that's the quickest way for you to get yourself subbed out of the game.
there is somebody waiting to sub in. It might be for her. Djordjevic from three, too short. This Lisets will bring the ball up the floor again. And a give and go. Extra pass to Shepard down low. And Shepard does what she does best. Easy 2 points.
And that's the key word. It's easy right now for Shepard to get hers.
And the lead is just getting bigger and bigger for Slovenia. Ratza will pull up. That is short. Shepard with another defensive board. And again, like last 2 possessions, Slovenia is casually just bringing the ball up the floor. Oh, give and go.
Nice help on the weak side there from Nogic, so she kind of took the brave decision to help her cross on a cutting Shepard, but it was the right decision.
Yep. And a timeout on the floor for Serbia. They have a lot to discuss in this timeout. Just under 5 minutes left to go. The lead is 62-39 for Slovenia.
And I love that response from Komalkovic. There's no ranting or aggression. It's calm. It's composed. It's positioning in the mind of the players that this is a journey that we're on. This isn't one game. This is a piece of a 4 or 6 year plan almost of us to develop these young players so their decision making gets better. They grow as a team together. I like that she's seeing it zoomed out right now, because I think getting stuck in to the fact that you're struggling in one game is not going to help them.
Yeah, in the future, we've talked about this before, is very, very bright for them. Skip pass to the corner for Friskovic. You bet, another 3 for the shooter.
If there was a EuroBasket women's fantasy game, Friskovic is one of those sleepers where you're like, yep.
Sign me up.
Definitely.
Tarudic turns it over. Slovenia's coming down in transition. No look pass by Shepard. The ball goes out of bounds.
Yeah, you had Friskovic on the near side, fading out to the 3-point, and you're kind of like, oh, maybe the decision wasn't the right direction in that one situation.
Well, that is your center.
Yeah, you don't expect necessarily. Yeah, the peripheral vision isn't what they're known for, right?
Nogic on the wing. Will drive and kick to Popovic. Oh, I thought she was going to take that. Corner pocket 3 is no good. And again, Shepard, who's on track to have another double-double very soon. Yellens will pull from 3. That is off, but an offensive rebound for Slovenia. But a turnover. Serbia comes up the floor with the ball. And a foul by Popovic. I'm okay with that one.
Yeah, I don't mind that.
I think
that foul particularly. It slows it down. It forces Serbia to play in the half court. They've not looked particularly great in the half court for a lot of the games. So
yeah, there were. I think Djordjevic had a mismatch underneath, so it probably was the right one. And shot clock is at 5. Popovic drives off the glass. It's good.
And Popovic is one of the players that's really stood out for me for this Serbian team, one that I'm proper excited about. 17 years old. She's not had huge stats, but there's been moments where she's
Right.
taken the game and taken a leadership role on the floor. And at the age of 17, that is a wonderful sign.
I totally agree with you. I think she's somebody that you're going to have, all eyes are going to be on her. And a foul. Is it foul?
Yeah, I think so. I think Shepard's going to
Yep.
be called for it.
Let's see here on this replay. Oh, yeah. Oh, was it on the rebound?
Yeah, I think it's just going over the back of
Okay.
Djordjevic is what the officials have whistled on that one.
Popovic got some speed on her. Probably got a little too deep on that drive. Was bailed out by Sambolic.
And I'm like that she's saying to her teammate Duglic, why have you gone to the perimeter? I'm attacking the basket. I need someone to hand it to. I don't need you.
Where are you going?
Come behind me. Join me. Come with me.
Nogic looks to attack, fakes a spin, goes up. Is that blocked? Oh no, it's a foul on Siuka. Let's see this.
Tough to see on that one.
Yeah,
one thing I
different
would
angle.
call is there was a little bit of a hip check. There was a little bit of a hand on the hip as she came around, but I don't think that's particularly what she was called for. But Siuka has had foul trouble in this tournament. Number 3 today for her.
I think she forgets her length. And a lot of post players have a tendency to, you know, put their hands down when they should just go straight up, especially when you have a guard driving in. It's really tough for those guards. And Nogic misses the free throw, but ball will stay with Serbia. Three ball is good from the wing.
And one.
It's for Tarudic.
Yeah, I think there was contact on the foot as well, so she'll go for the bonus. But right now, for me, Popovic at point for Serbia makes them more balanced and seem to be playing smarter offense.
Again, listen, when you want to go under on the pick and roll, you don't go back, because then the pick and roll is not here, but it's here. When she comes here you go under. They play zone. I don't want to see anyone to hesitate. Okay? We play, hold it down. All right. Jessica, the pick and roll. You are up. You move here, touch the ball somewhere to the elbow or somewhere here. Back step to see her cut inside or to the opposite side to get shot. Okay? And fix it on defense. Our defense sucks.
Your thoughts on that timeout?
Picking at the finer details, which when you're up by this amount, that's what you're looking to do, particularly when teams are trying to come back into the game against you. He's talking about the pick and roll. He's talking about where on the floor you're going to go under and you're going to keep backing off, and where you have to go on over the top. Slovenia right now are going under all the time.
Yeah.
You know, they're giving too much space, too much separation, and he's not happy with that. Offensively, I love that call. It's Serbia go in the zone. I don't want to see anyone hesitate. In other words, you've all got green lights. Let it fly if they drop in a zone, because that will stop them playing in a zone very quickly.
Yeah, and it's nice having confidence in your head coach telling everyone you got the green light, you know?
It certainly helps when you've got a team of real shooters, though, as well. To be fair, we've got Shepard on the floor and Gorsic, maybe not the shooters, but everyone else can certainly let fly if Serbia do sit in that zone.
Viskovic thought about it, and turnover for Slovenia. Serbia's got numbers! Missed the layup, but Djordjevic is there to clean it up.
Now, up to the finish, that was a textbook transition.
Yes,
it was beautiful spacing. The lanes were all filled. It was lovely, just not the finish was quite there. Thankfully, Djordjevic picked up the scraps.
And here's some aggressive defense from Serbia, and another turnover.
And this, for me, this is why the zone is important for Serbia. It's forcing Slovenia to play far further away from the basket. They don't have that kind of pressure release of just dumping it inside to Shepard because the paint is crowded. This could be their way back into this game.
And their guards are doing a good job, because normally in a zone you're back in your position, but they're pressuring not full court, but they're up there. Nogic kicks it to Djordjevic, and she hits a big three for Serbia.
And we talked about those incremental bite sizes. It's now a 15-point game. That's kind of milestone one. Let's get it down to single digits. That will be the second milestone that Coach Malkovic will want.
Slovenia. Shepard has got 5 people on her almost, and she will get fouled.
But that is what the defense should be. You look at this, the spin move, who does she spin into? Dugalic is standing there.
4 people, yeah.
That is not an easy finish. And if you, with Shepard, send it to the line.
Yes.
Don't give up points.
You're right,
send
actually.
it to the line. If you've got fouls to give, now's the time to use them. There's a little over 11 minutes to play.
She has struggled from the free throw line this competition, although tonight she is 2 for 2 so far. Maybe because I just said something.
I was about to say, she might be jumping in your DMs.
Yeah.
You've got to be careful.
You're like, eh, leave me alone. Hold my breath, okay.
But even then, you know, even if she hits a high percentage, make her earn those points.
Two-man game, Dugalic gets fouled going to the rack. Almost to and one.
But again, I like it. You know, I talked about it before, this non-democracy idea. You've got Nogic on ball, you've got Dugic setting the screen. They're your 2 focal points offensively. They are the 2 that should be in those positions. Everyone else, space the floor, find your kick-out option for the jumper.
Yeah, and I think Serbia, if they do get the kick-out, they can't be hesitant. They've got to pull the trigger.
100%.
Dugalic goes 1 for 2 from the free throw line. Just about 1 minute left to go in this third quarter. Serbia is staying in that extended zone. Gorsuch will pull from 3. She gets her own rebound and a foul.
He said don't hesitate.
He did say don't hesitate.
She definitely didn't hesitate.
She was like, okay.
She saw the big green light and let it fly. I like that. And as a coach, that's what you want. You know, you give instructions and you want your team to deliver against that, and it's paid off. You know, they shot 3, she didn't hit it, but they've crashed the boards, and now they get themselves some free throws.
Yeah, they did a great job keeping the ball alive. Probably like 4 tips, and then it eventually ended up in the hands of Gorsuch. She goes 2 for 2. So Nogic with the ball. She drives, attacks, scoop shot, misses. Dugalic looking for options. Popovic has it. Nogic will take. No good. Another defensive board for Shepard. Slovenia should end this quarter with the last possession.
And it feels like they've kind of ridden the storm a little bit here in the last couple of minutes.
Game clock winding down. Shepard kicks it out. Zvjanovic. 3 ball is no good. But at the end of 3, Slovenia still sitting comfortably, 69-51.
Ladies and gentlemen, basketball fun and thrill seekers, please welcome the craziest, most electrifying acrobatic slam.
And here are some of these stats. My goodness, look at these numbers. What pops out to you?
Well, clearly Slovenia's two-point shooting percentage is still off the charts.
Ridiculous.
It's going down, so it's going in the right direction from Serbia's perspective, not quick enough. The one thing I would say is that you have to give some credit to Serbia. They were down by 26. They're now down by 18. You're not going to come back from 26 points down in the flick of a switch. It takes you time, so they are heading in the right direction, but 10 minutes left, trailing by 18. It's a very big ask for a team that is lacking confidence and maybe more worryingly has lacked offense in this tournament. So it's not a high-scoring team that struggled today. They've struggled in the previous 2 games as well.
Yeah, and that third quarter was 20-18 for Slovenia, but it was kind of, what, maybe 2 minutes of good possessions for Serbia, where they kind of made that comeback. And then after that, again, easy baskets for Shepherd. She continues to have her way inside the lane. She's en route for...
she's 1 rebound short.
Yeah, 1 rebound short. And she's got 5 assists. So, wow, she's going to have herself a game. Yeah.
It's those small wins for me now, even taking out the scoreline here and the win here. Don't get me wrong, Serbia still can, but it's more about building going forward. This needs to be a launch pad for when these group of players come back in November and start the qualification process for EuroBasket 2027, that they've got something to pick up on. They've got something to kind of to build from. They don't want to whimper out. And I feel in the last 2 or 3 minutes, with that zone defense particularly, they certainly haven't whimpered out. They're starting to put up a fight here.
All right, friends, 4th quarter underway here in Bologna. Serbia starting out in that zone. It kind of helps them a little bit in the 3rd quarter as Lizec. Her jumper is no good, and a foul. Again, really far from the basket.
And what are you going to achieve? You're behind the play. One of your teammates is already there slowing it down. Just a kind of unnecessary foul. 3rd foul for Dabaliak as well.
Really unnecessary, but they'll learn. I think. I hope. Nogic on the wing. And as they double her, Dugalic, skip pass. Djordjevic, her shot is long. As Slovenia comes up the floor with the ball. Gorsuch wide open. Can't get that to drop. Here comes Serbia.
I don't mind that as a foul. I don't think Slovenia was set at all defensively. But it makes this game scrappy, and from Slovenia's perspective, scrappy probably helps Serbia better than it helps Slovenia.
Yeah, I would agree.
They want a game of tempo and space and fluidity, and breaking it up with these fouls probably, gives Serbia a chance to get back in.
Oh, Popovic turns it over. Lisets with the ball. Skips it, extra pass. Little drop pass inside to Gorsuch. She is fouled. She'll go to the line for 2.
And the signal from Coach Fikiolakis, you can't see it on your screen, but he's saying, shoot the ball. He talks about in that timeout, do not hesitate. Bartelmi could have shot the ball.
She could have.
Dabaliak could have shot the ball.
Yeah. I thought Dabaliak is the one who probably passed up.
Oh, 100%. She was the one that had the better opportunity. But, that's the direction from the coach. Let it fly. You've got the green light. And from a player's perspective, you don't always get that from a coach.
No.
That you get such confidence, an affirmation to lean into the 3-ball.
Gorsuch goes 1 for 2 from the line. Serbia looking for Djordjevic down low. Shot clock winding down, extra pass. Dugalic will pull from top. No good, but a foul on the play. Ball will stay with Serbia.
I was about to say a near perfect 24 seconds of defense from Slovenia there, but it's a heartbreaker for a coach when it's 0.3 seconds left and you're like, ah, I've done everything right.
Dugalic will get a break as Jankovic comes in. Nogic drives and kicks. Popovic will pull from 3. Offensive board and putback is good for Djordjevic. Here's some of that full court pressure. Debeliak's got numbers, kicks it out. Svjanovic misses everything. I think that might be her first miss of the game. Ball's inside, Jankovic. And a turnover for Serbia. Bartelme is fouled on the play.
Yeah, again, smart foul really from Nogic there. They're probably going to give up an easy 2.
She would have had a wide open layup if she didn't commit that foul.
Plenty of fouls to give for Serbia, so yeah, a pretty easy decision to make for Nogic. And again, from Serbia's perspective, the last couple of defensive stands, they've given up wide open shots, but I don't mind that particularly because they put a full court press and they are still trying to chase the win. They're not trying to minimize a loss, they're still trying to chase the win, and I respect that with everything. It's the way to play.
Svjanovic with a strong drive and finish. She has been outstanding for Slovenia tonight.
She continues to impress, 13 points. I was going to say in the pre-game, there's no way I picked Svjanovic as the one that was going to step up and have that bigger game based on the first 2 games of the group.
Another behind the back pass for Nogic. Shot clock ticking. And is it definitely a turnover. Shot clock violation. Slovenia will take it. Yeah, Serbia is still trying to pressure full court.
Yeah, and it's important to highlight here right now as well. We've got 3 of the starting 5 for Slovenia taking a break.
Yeah.
Suka, Shepherd, and Oblak on the bench.
Gorsuch with an up and under. Gets that 2-point bucket to go. And timeout is called by Serbia. So Slovenia has extended their lead again to 21, 74-53. It's been all Slovenia since that first timeout. In the first quarter, Serbia came out guns blazing. They really did, and then since that timeout, it's been Slovenia. So.
Yeah, Serbia have really tried. Coach Malkovic has made some alterations. We saw a little full court press. We've seen them lock in on a zone defense, which has caused Slovenia some issues, but they're more like kind of bumps in the road. They're not roadblocks.
They're not roadblocks at all.
No, they're just a diversion. Oh, okay, you've thrown that at us. We're going to change things in this direction. And Slovenia kind of have that luxury of the depth of roster that they have. But yeah, they have that depth of roster, so they have that ability to deal with those issues relatively smoothly.
Yeah.
And I love that Coach Tsigalakis has given minutes. He has spread the love throughout his roster. Everyone's getting minutes. Everyone's probably going to walk away with at least 5-6 minutes in the game. And from Jessica Shepherd's perspective, she's had another huge game. 1 rebound away from a double-double, 5 assists, and 1 rebound away from a triple-double. But she's only played 22 minutes. She's been averaging 35, 36 minutes a game. So from her perspective, it's great to see her teammates take some of that heavy lifting out of this game.
And Slovenia right out of that timeout with a full court press. As Trudic finds Dugalic and she gets fouled. I would say that was pretty well executed by Serbia.
Yeah, when you look how they spaced the floor out as well, it was very intentional what they were looking to do, giving Duglic that space to operate.
She gets the first free throw to drop. She's got 14. More scoring from her today than in previous games.
Yeah, she's only had 5 points a game across the first two, so great to see. But they've also, with Anderson being out, the ball's gone through her a little bit more.
Yeah, and she's still pretty young, 23.
She's going to be one of the central pieces of this team for the next decade.
I think so, too.
There's no two ways about it. I think Popovic has potential to develop into being that as well, but they're still to be seen at the age of 17, whereas I think Duglic has shown enough that she's going to be central to whatever Serbia do over the next 10 years.
Stojanovic tries to get to the basket. Not sure what the call is.
I think they're going to have a conversation, whether the shot clock expired before the ball went out or whether there should be some time on the shot clock. Yeah, they're
shot clock.
Say,
okay. Shot clock violation. Well, good defensive possession for Serbia. Let's see if they will capitalize on this on the other end.
And this is the biggest bit I'm interested to see from Coach Malkovic. I'm looking forward to the qualifiers for EuroBasket 2027 in November to see what is Serbia's identity going to be. Because right now, it's kind of a clean sheet of paper that she's going to have.
Duglic finally gets a three to drop from the corner.
3 points.
She's been shooting very well today, 6 for 7.
Yeah, her third triple of the game, and again, we talked about it this week. That is the stretch four that everyone looks for now.
Svrskovic will try. Wow, a lot of contact underneath the basket. That ball was going everywhere. Gorsuch had it for a second, and Jankovic took it from her.
Yeah, it's a real scramble underneath. Helmet's got hands on the ball.
Yeah, I think it was at the very end, kind of got.
Yeah, as it ripped through her arm, may have caught her wrist,
So another timeout will be called for Slovenia. Things are still looking good for them. They are up 74-58.
Yeah, without doubt, Coach Nikolakis will be so much happier today than he's been in the last 2 games, sitting alongside him at the post-game press conference. He's a slightly frustrated and forlorn figure. And I think that stems from knowing what this team can do.
Yeah.
And them just not delivering in the moments they've needed to. And a bit like Serbia, it's not that they haven't shown that they belong at the top table of European basketball. They absolutely do. They've not shown it for 30, 35 minutes. They've shown it for smaller phases and going against the likes of Lithuania with the experience and level they play, and even more so the Italian team with the likes of Zanda Lassini. You don't win games if you're not putting 35 minutes at least of good basketball on the floor.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think Slovenia they've been in the 2 previous games they played well for about 25 minutes.
Yeah.
And really dug themselves in holes early on. But I understand. I think they're probably frustrated that they're not moving forward, especially with this roster, these 5 that are on the floor right now. Lots of talent. So if all goes well now, they should be getting their first win tonight.
Yeah, and they'll take a lot from that. As I say, November's going to be interesting for Slovenia as well. Teo Black, now 34 years of age. Is she going to put herself into that qualification process? I think she probably will. But will she be here for 2027? She'll be 36. It might be her last hurrah at a EuroBasket at the age of 36.
I'm going to cheer for the oldies.
You're repping the vets. Okay.
Heck yeah. I mean, she's still very, very good and talented. She's just won EuroLeague.
Oh, 100%, without doubt at this stage. She's at the top table. She's at the top tier of guards.
Oh, goodness. Lisic finds Shepard completely alone underneath the basket.
And it's just a smart, intelligent, experienced play, reading that zone defense, knowing that you can kind of sneak around the back with people not able to kind of see everything going on.
Popovic will pull from 3. She gets that to drop. Is that her first three?
Yeah, first three of the game, just a second field goal. Just hasn't had the impact in today's game.
Siuka will try. No good. Here comes Serbia. Oh, and a foul.
Thankfully, she was level with her, so it won't be an unsportsmanlike foul.
I still think they're going to talk about it. And here's that previous play.
Yeah, just switching off a little bit. And there's the three from Popovic. Yeah, the officials are talking it over. For me, that's not unsportsmanlike. My opinion. Doesn't mean much. I have no referee qualifications.
Oh, they are going to call it a normal foul. Okay. Oh,
then they go.
Now they're going, never mind.
So they have to make the initial call to judge what to change it from, either downgrade or upgrade.
Well, let's have a listen. See what they say.
Can you show me first normal speed, main camera? Can we have the camera from the baseline? That one, yeah.
No, but we should to know if she's the last.
The last, yeah. Give the main again.
Main camera is okay.
Yeah. Is the last player.
Is the last. C4.
So, white player is the last player. There is no opponents between blue player and the basket, and that's why we can apply the criteria C4 and sportsmanlike foul. You agree?
Yeah, I'm agree.
Okay.
C4.
So after review, we upgrade the foul from personal foul to unsportsmanlike foul, 2 shots and the ball to blue team. Okay. And the time is. Can you show me the clock? Go, 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 go. Okay, it's correct. Okay.
All right, you guys heard it. Unsportsmanlike will be called. That's a tough one.
It is, and it opens the door for Serbia. They're only down by 13 right now. They, you know, if these two can be hit, then they get possession. This could be very quickly a single-digit ball game.
It could. And we've had a lot of comeback games in this group already.
It's been unbelievable, right? It's been absolutely unbelievable. Bologna has absolutely delivered on all expectations. I think my only frustration is that this isn't a game that led to qualification. That would have been nice to close out. This group deserved both games on the final day to lead to a qualification.
So Serbia have a chance here as they look inside to Dugalic. She almost loses it, but gets it back. Gets that 2-point bucket to go. Angela Dugalic and a steal. Jankovic, 2 points. Wow. Turn of events, man.
This is bonkers, and Coach Fikiolakis can't really afford to call a timeout because I think he's only got 1 left.
Lead has been cut to 7.
17-point swing in the last, well, less than 10 minutes of basketball, really.
Resets. Inside. Yep. You can see that from here. I saw that hand.
Serbia have got fouls to give, though, so not the end of the world.
Not the end. Yeah, good foul.
Yeah, I don't mind that as a foul at all. We talked about it at half, you know, 94% from 2 is unacceptable. It's down to 83, so it's still unacceptable.
Still unacceptable. Oh, Black will try from the corner. No good. It's Shepard with the O board. Friskovic, you bet!
And that is what she does. Cool, calm, collected, spread the floor, spots up, and you know it's a high percentage shot. It doesn't matter how much pressure. She deals with that pressure like it was first quarter, first shot of the game. She doesn't change how she plays the game at all.
Dugalic will try. It's long. Defensive board for O'Black. They go inside to Shepard. She's triple teamed. Kicks it out. Extra pass. O'Black will try a 3. No good. Lisets, great offensive rebound. Black, extra pass, Shepard. What ball movement, Siuka, bottom of the net.
And that is the epitome of team basketball. Patience, they didn't panic on the shot clock, they kept moving, they knew they were gonna get a good look. Shepard draws the defense in, the triple team collapses, and she knows she's got teammates spotting up, and Siuka shot the ball well yesterday, hasn't particularly today, but steps up in a big way when she's needed most.
That was such a beautiful possession. I think almost everybody touched the ball. Serbia trying to respond. Jankovic can't get it to go, and a shot clock violation. So great defense for Slovenia.
And if you go back a couple of possessions, that three from Friškovec, I have a feeling when we finish this game will be the big moment as we see Siuka nailing the second three. Because it kind of broke a little bit of that Serbian spirit. They were kind of like, yeah, we've got momentum, we're in this game, and it's like, you're kidding me.
I mean,
and it took them away from you know, having the upper hand. It took that away. And
Serbia cut it down to 7, right? And then that three from Friškovec puts them up 10, and then you come back down here, that great possession. Absolutely. Kind of just sucked the sail out of or the wind out of the sail.
Yeah,
am I saying that right?
Yeah, for Serbia. And I think Coach Malkovic, that's one of the things that she's probably going to have to deal with coaching a young group, is for them to take the peaks off the highs and take the bottoms off the lows.
Yes.
You know, it's trying to level that out a little bit. So, yes, emotions are important, but you have to manage them. You know, I said it with Friškovec. She didn't go off celebrating and flying when she hit the 3-ball. It's just part of the game. You know, inside she's holding that joy that she's taken a big shot and hit a big shot, but it's not affecting her so much. Whereas I feel with some of these younger Serbian players, they're riding the highs super high and then feeling the lows super low.
And here's that double-double for Jessica Shepard. 21 points, 10 rebounds. She has been just ridiculous.
Yeah, she's got a real chance to be the leading scorer here when the tournament comes to an end in a little over a week's time. She may be the one that comes out with that scoring title. She's going to be averaging, well, I imagine at least 21, 22 points a game. So,
and she's got 6 assists tonight.
Certainly helps when you've got a big that's happy to pass out of the post when they're double teamed.
Siuka drives and kicks to a wide open Friškovec. Can't get that to drop. Serbia will come up with the defensive rebound. They got to hurry here. Popovic looking for a solution. Jankovic will drive left, gets knocked out of bounds. Possession will stay with Serbia. 8 seconds left on the shot clock. I'm always surprised that they keep giving Jankovic her strong hand.
Yeah, it's interesting that they're not overly playing it, but I suppose until she proves she can dominate, then maybe not overly worried right now.
Nogic missed that 3-pointer. Ooh.
She needed eyes in the back of the head for that one, though, right? Friškovec cutting on the weak side.
At the same time, you've got 45 seconds left in the game. Try to use up as much clock as you can. Oh my gosh! What a pass from Teja Oblak. Jessica Shepard adds 2 more points for Slovenia.
And that's the Oblak that has built this legend around, that vision and that ability to throw those bullet passes.
Dugalic misses everything. I think Slovenia might just hold on for this last possession here. And yes, they will. What a game for Slovenia. The Slovenia that we were hoping to see in the previous 2 games, they did show up tonight as they will take their first victory here in EuroBasket. 84-69 for Slovenia.
A far more, as you said, Slovenian performance.
Yes. Much, much better performance for them today. It's unfortunate that they will not continue on in this competition. However, this game still mattered, as you said earlier, for future competitions.
Yeah, the ranking points will come off the back of this. It potentially could give them an easier qualification route for 2027. But for the players right now, I'm sure for Slovenian players, it's almost a sense of relief.
Yes.
You never want to come to a big tournament like this and leave without a win. And you look at some of the stats that back this performance up. Their performance inside was absolutely sublime. At the half, it was, what was it, 94%? So it's dropped off a little, but that they have delivered a very efficient performance here today. I give credit to Serbia, though. They've had some standout performances. Duglic, Jankovic, Nogic, all getting into double digits. Shepard clearly leading all scorers with 23.
Yep.
But Serbia are at the first step of this process now. It is a transition. It is moving into the next generation. Some of the iconic Serbian names haven't been here this week, and they won't be in the future. And it's down to how this Serbian team find their identity, how they take their lessons and grow from this experience that they've had here in Bologna.
Yeah, and I think they have the right pieces. You know, who knows what's going to happen with Yvonne Anderson in the next big tournament. You know, she's, coming up on 36 years old.
Yeah.
And then you've got this youngster, Popovic, who is only 17 and is very promising. But yeah, they've got a very young team. Like you said, it's going to be rebuilding for a couple of years here. But come on, look at their coach.
Yeah,
she's got some serious experience.
Coach Malkovic is all in to bring Serbian basketball back to where she believes it should be, and where she believes it should be is where it was 4 years ago, and that's on the top step, with the gold medal around their necks and with the trophy in their hands. And she will not sleep. She will not quit on that mission.
No doubt.
I could see her being in this post for potentially decades. She's only 43 years of age, and in coaching years,
is she really?
That's a puppy, right?
It is a puppy.
That's a puppy of a coach. But you think she's been around forever, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's like, who's the other kid? Jussi Josite from Lithuania. I feel like she's been around forever also. But yeah, Slovenia was just unbelievable today. Congratulations to them on their first win of this tournament. Unfortunate that they're not going to be going forward in the next round, but they had huge performances from quite a few people. I mean, they had 52 points in the paint, and that is just insane. That's a crazy stat, and that's mostly from, well, half of it's from almost Jessica Shepard. She's had 23, 10, and 6 tonight. She's definitely player of the game, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think without doubt it's hard to argue against that. She's been the best player for Slovenia in every game that they've played in, putting some huge performances. And what was nice today was to see a rounded Slovenian performance. Teo Black stepped up and was more leadership. Her stat line actually looks probably the worst of the lot.
It does, but I agree with you. Leadership-wise, yes, absolutely.
There was composure and control. She led with emotion, but not too much. It was what her team needed her to be. And again, we have 17 points kind of under the radar from Friškovec.
Yep.
Who again, alongside Shepard, those two players are probably the ones that will be most happy from an individual perspective on how they've performed.
Yep, and here are the standings for Group B. Italy and Lithuania are 2-0. Huge game tonight. We will see who will get first place for them out of Group B. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. We will be back for that second game, Italy versus Lithuania. So don't go anywhere.